I started in church. My family from Cincinnati, Ohio. I was born and raised in Cincy. I came from the church. I grew up fourth generation, as something that me and my cousins, we often say we're all four generations Pentecostals. And both my parents were ministers, and then both their parents, so my dad's parents, my mom's parents, were ministers and pastors. Kind of just was like born into this, like I was handpicked to basically just follow into this path of being a minister or living a Christian lifestyle. And I had to learn for myself that this was something that I truly wanted to walk out and actually like practice and live out, and not just be something that I was raised in and kind of separate myself from it. I think in adulthood, I came to that realization. But I was also really blessed with a musical gift, that I had to learn that this gift goes hand in hand with my faith. And so I couldn't separate the two. At least for me, in my experience, is that it wasn't anything that I feel like God wanted me to do, is separate the two, and He wanted me to focus on the fact that, learning who gave you the gift, where the gift comes from, and how to utilize the gift. Not for my own glory, but for His glory. Because I think a lot of great musicians who do come from church, unfortunately, they tend to lend their gift to the world in so many different facets. But for me, I haven't found success in that area. So I know that there's something important about what I'm doing and who I am, that I should really just deeply dive in and focus in on, that this is a gift for the Lord. It's meant to give Him glory in every way. I'm a musician, but I'm also a follower of Christ. And that it comes with its own difficulties. It's not easy to say I'm a follower of Christ. But and with every challenge, like I'm still pressing, I'm still chasing, I'm still going after Christ vividly. It's affected it in a tremendous way. I would say like my beginning stages of playing, especially the piano, because I started playing the drums when I was really young, at the age of 4. And for me, it was just beating on anything that I could beat on, just making sounds. But eventually, when I really started to play the piano and started to pick at it and learn it when I was about 14, that was when I was actually connecting with sound and music, and connecting with how I created and what emotions am I feeling as I'm doing that. And for me, I always lended my heart towards God, like, okay, God, and praying and even asking Him to kind of touch my hands and anoint them and use them and things like that. I always kind of center my focus towards that, because I felt like I'm not going to be able to do this on my own. I was never trained. I didn't go to school. I didn't take lessons. I didn't want to. Unfortunately, I think my parents tried. My mom tried to get me in lessons. My mom physically, like she purposely bought a piano, a digital piano, and put it in our living room just so that one of me or my siblings would learn. And nobody did. And one day, like, I just got on the piano and just picked it up and just started doing stuff. And so I'm grateful for that. I mean, those moments, I laugh at them now, and I just think back, like, I don't know what I was doing. I don't even know what a chord looked like back then. But now, like, to see where it's got me and the opportunities and some of the doors that it's opened up for me as a musician, I'm grateful for those. But I can only account those to me realizing that God opened those doors. God gave me those opportunities. Not myself, not my gift, nothing of me, nothing even of my gift. I think a lot of musicians get caught up in that. I'm so gifted and I know every chord in the book. And maybe those things happen for you that way. But if I don't see it as Him being the source, then I miss the whole point of why I do what I do. I would say that music has been my expression. It's my way of expressing my inner soul. Because sometimes I can't say it all through words. And I have a brother who's like really good with his words. And then I have 2 brothers, so I have another brother who's really good with words. He's actually a preacher. So both of my brothers are really good with using, a big vocabulary in how they speak. And so that may not be the way that I express myself. And I'm okay with that. But I'm able to do that through music, and you feel it through what I'm saying. And so that's I bear my soul, I bear my heart in my songs. And I've always like when it comes to my writing of my songs, I've always looked for themes and topics and stories that are not being told. It's kind of like, well then, if that's not being told, let's shine a light on that, because I resonate with that story, or I resonate with that experience. And so just being able to tell my story is how I'm able to connect with music. That's my way of telling my story. So many people have different ways of how they tell their story, whether it's through social media or whatever it is, but for me it's music. And so it's my voice, it's my expression, it's my devotion to God, it's my connection to God. That's why it's so important to stay grounded when it comes to this music thing journey. I know that a lot of my peers and a lot of friends that I have, or people that I just know in general, are not as spiritually grounded in Christ's faith. There's a lot of people that are spiritually kind of, grounded in a different area, and so they may see God as the universe, or they don't see it as direct as like it's Christ. And so for me, there's a difference in that area, and I like to stand my ground on that, and that Christ is God. He's my source. And so there's kind of like this disconnect where there are individuals who believe that you don't sound as deep when you communicate if you're not speaking, in this new age way of saying things. Whereas for someone who believes in Christ, it's pretty easy. It's pretty it's pretty easy to identify. There's nothing deeper than Christ itself. Like, and I think Christ is deep alone, but I think that like for a lot of people that just sounds very surface, and for me, like, there's so much depth to that. Like diving into His Word, and diving into a relationship with Him, and actually diving into knowing Him. There's so much depth in that, and I think we're so focused, and our generation unfortunately is so focused on ourselves as individuals, not really focused on serving a higher power, which is Christ. We're focused on ourselves, and we're missing the whole point at which we live this life. We're not living this life just for ourselves to get the bag, or to build a business, or to live our best lives, or to, just to manifest everything that we want in this life. We're not here for that. All this material, everything that we think that we want is going to pass, it's going to cease. And then the only thing that matters is what Paul said in Philippians 3:8, is to win Christ. All of these things are dung. And everything in this life, it doesn't matter, but to win Christ. That's why music means so much to me, because I'm able to express even what I just said there through my songs. There was a song that my brother and I wrote together. It's called Big Win. And when I realized Philippians 3:8 is why I wrote that song, it made sense for me. Like, I thought Big Win was for a wife to be, or someone, a relationship or something of that nature, but it wasn't. It was really just me realizing that Christ is the win.